Yo, what is up guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the CDM FREEZE Giorgio Chiellini. This card was released a couple of weeks ago. We're going to go through the card, his basic details, his stats, his traits, as well as some clips and our usual summary. But before we get into all that, if I could please ask you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below what your thoughts are on this card. Now, let's get into the review. Giorgio Chiellini, 6'2", medium high work rates, left-footed, 2-star swing with 3-star weak foot. I bought him for around 200k, guys. He played 7 games for me, 1 goal, 2 assists, and I think 3 clean sheets. So maybe not the best return. And guys, if I'm being totally honest with you and straight up front about this card, I did not like using this card. I did not find it fun using this card. He did have some really good moments for me, but overall, I don't feel like this card is great. But we'll get through it, and you guys can see some of the clips and the summary as well of how I think he was. Details, of course, he is now a CDM, so I applied the Catalyst trait to him. I wanted to boost his pace and passing. As he's playing at the base of midfield, I want him to be able to distribute the ball well and get attacks going as well. I could have boosted his dribbling as well. Maybe that would have helped the card a little more in terms of maneuverability in midfield. I did find that was a bit of an issue with him. And I also tried him between the CDM and centre-back slots to see where he fitted in better. Unsurprisingly, it was centre-back, which when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, paying 200k for a centre-back who's really just a shadow of what he was now, this is basically just his FIFA 19 card, you don't really want to be paying that much for it. But carrying on into it, we've got into his attributes now. Reasonable pace, pretty good for a centre-back. Obviously not as quick as some of your Kyle Walkers or things like that, or Rafael Varane, but still quick. A centre-back can be used in the Serie A teams as well. The greatest thing about this card, guys, that I would say is probably his passing, actually. In the end, I realised that I didn't actually need to boost his passing that much. His short passing and long passing is phenomenal, and it is really good at just pinging the passes off, getting them into right areas, for you to start counterattacks, and you'll see plenty of those in the clips to come. All of his defending stats are pretty decent. His heading is a little bit weak though, which I found was a bit of an issue. Consistently winning headers or challenging for the ball was an issue for him, and he did lose quite a few for me. The other key con for this card is his stamina. If you're playing him in the base of midfield, then he is going to struggle because you need that player to be running constantly, cutting passing lanes, etc, etc. For me, he didn't do a lot of that. He struggled to do that towards the end of the game, and even sometimes just didn't bother at all. So that's a bit of a con as well. Of course, his agility too is a con. You can't maneuver as quickly as you want to with him around the field, but given that you could just play him next to a more technical player and feed the simple ball off to a technical player whilst winning the ball back from him, that's another way you could use him. But if he doesn't do the defending part of it, this card becomes pretty redundant. So with that being said, I think when he's playing a centre-back, he's obviously a lot better with all of these features combined. Lastly, getting into his player traits, he's got long throw-in, injury-prone, dives into tackles, and power header. And the dives into tackles thing is a massive thing. He is super aggressive and on the front foot all the time. But that can be to your detriment as well, especially in and around the box where he's just sliding into people. Not sliding into people, but lunging in, sticking his foot in where it shouldn't be, without me telling him to as well. Sometimes it can be a little annoying when he doesn't time the tackles right. Power header, it's a good trait to have, but unfortunately it doesn't win enough headers for me. So it's kind of a null trait, if that makes sense. That wasn't really something I got to use that much, therefore. Now that we've covered the basics of the card, let's get into some of the clips I've got with him. So guys, just getting some of Chiellini's clips now. We're going to check out some of his defending as well. There aren't a lot of clips because it's sometimes tough to pick out the defending clips for you guys. But as you can see, you can press hard with this guy. He's got reasonable speed in the midfield to be able to track back in straight lines to get into those passing lanes and tackle the opponents. Here he is at centre-back as well. You can press out with him. The attackers feel a little bit uncomfortable with the size of him as well. He's one of those that's got a very big stature about him, gets involved in the tackles, really aggressive in the tackles as well, and has a reasonable amount of speed as well, able to perform slide tackles really well, and wins them cleanly, no fouls or anything like that. So overall, a reasonable player in terms of his defending attributes. Again, there you can see a beautiful slide tackle that he pulls off. The thing about Chiellini for me, guys, is his agility and his ability to be able to transition in the midfield quickly. You can see there he comes out of defense and plays a lovely ball, but it's not always the case that he finds it easy to win the ball in midfield and come out with it. That again is one where it's a very straight line maneuver, where it's a player who's turning a lot. He does find it more difficult to get the ball back and create something from the back going forward. His long passing is phenomenal as well, as you've seen in a couple of these clips as well. He finds the passes really well, and with that 85 long and short passing, it's just so easy to do things with this card. Here again, you can see where is a straight line attack almost. It's very easy to play with this card. He can run in the straight line, he can play the ball easily. He's a simple player like that. But when it comes to other things, he's a bit trickier to use. This shot here, the only goal I scored with him, what a ping that one was. So guys, getting into the final Chiellini summary, of course, the Juventus player from Serie A, Italian, so you've got a lot of linkability in there. We'll get into that in a second. 190k on the PlayStation, 170k on the Xbox, 7 games played for me, 1 goal scored, 2 assists, 3 clean sheets. The key stats for me, his defensive awareness and his long passing. The fact that you can play long passes right out of the centre back or CDM slot, the left wing, right wing, and to other centre backs, to your full backs, makes it really easy to distribute with this card. I do feel like this card is more suited to a centre back position, especially with his cons being agility and stamina. He's not the most mobile of players, so in midfield, and I did a direct comparison with Thomas Partey, he struggled compared to Partey. Partey was much more easily able to get around that part of the pitch and make the tackles. His stam as well means that he can't run for the whole game, gets a bit tired towards the end. I put a catalyst on him, guys, but I think looking back, I'd probably put an engine on him just to give him that boost in dribbling as well, make him a bit more maneuverable in midfield and usable there. In terms of links, you've got some real good links there. You can go straight from defense to attack with Bonucci and Ronaldo. Similar player, I put him down as the baby Rijkaard. He felt kind of like that kind of slow play, able to do things technically really well at times. Not a great dribbler, but just in general an okay player. You can see the key pros and the cons there, the same as linking to the key stats. Guys, overall, I did not enjoy using this card at all. I didn't find it fun to use. Just not a great card from me, to be fair. I wouldn't recommend buying him unless you really do like the Serie A team that you could fit him into, and I would recommend, if you do buy him, to switch him from CDM to centre back at the start of the game so that you can run him at the centre back position. He's much more suited to that than the CDM slot. Hope you guys did enjoy the review, and if you did, please do hit that like, and until next time, I will see you in a bit.